Hi and welcome to What's Not to Like, and today we're looking at Hive by John Yarney. And this game was designed, I see, in the early 2000s, but I noticed on my copy the copyright date is 2013, and I think that's probably because the game has been repackaged in sort of a very exciting way. It's a very successful game, this, and that's why I want to talk about it today, because this is a game that springs out of the British gaming circle of people, and John has created something that sells well in our shops in the UK. That's not very common, to be honest, with serious games, gamers games. We have games that sell in shops that are media games, the Harry Potter game, or the games about TV quiz shows, those sort of things, which is all well and good, but I think the really kind of substantial games, game that serious gamers can get their heads around, are few and far between, and so it's to the detriment of the hobby in this country that we can't really get them into the high street. These games, our gaming shops are terrific, but the high street shops don't really spread the word about quality gaming. I think John's done a great job in getting this out, and part of the reason for that is that it's a wonderfully tactile game, a wonderful solid hexagonal tiles with these nice strong images on them, and it comes in this nice bag, which is nice as well. It sells as a product where people say, oh, it doesn't need a board to play it, which is, it's not totally unique. I mean, you think of dominoes is exactly the same as that, but it's a game that it's got a real individual feel to it, and congratulations on that. But it doesn't just sell in this country. I mean, the game I've got here, you can see it's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different languages there. So clearly John's got his act together in getting that out across the world, really, which to his credit. And this is something I think in the UK we're struggling to do a little bit. I think partly being an island nation, it's quite difficult with the distribution. The actual cost of getting games out to other countries is quite substantial, and it's hats off to those who managed to do it. Looking back, we remember games like JKLM, the JKLM company with Marcus Wellborn running that. I mean, he tried to do that, and it, he got so far, but it's very difficult to do. It's not easy. So, all credit to anybody in the British gaming industry that can really get our games out there, because I think we've got tremendous inventiveness in this country, and this is a very good game in that respect. So, very quickly, this game is a 2-player game if you've not actually played it, and it's a game that suits me down to the ground because it's a placement, position game, and movement game. So you start off with just 1 or 2 tiles down. The game hinges on each of players have a queen bee tile, and that has to be surrounded by your enemy, or they're trying to surround your opponent's trying to surround that queen bee. If they succeed in getting it surrounded, then you lose the game. It's as simple as that. But each of these tiles then can move around the board in different ways. So some of them can just move around the outside quite quickly. Some can move one at a time. Some of them can crawl on top, and I think it's a locust or grasshopper can jump. I can't remember the whole detail of all that, but you can see you can do different things with different tiles, and each in turn has one move towards that objective. So it's a very straightforward game in lots of ways, but it works really, really well, and I've enjoyed playing it. It's a game that I've tended to be quite successful at winning because my background initially was in chess. I played an awful lot of chess as a child, and I think those skills of position and movement across a board are things that I've been strong in my gameplay, and so I'm quite attracted to a game like this. So I'd recommend this game to anybody who plays it, and as an example of how to design a game that's going to explore the possibility of gaming and enthuse people who maybe haven't come to the gaming table before. My afterthoughts on this game are that the drawback for us this game is that I've played this game with only a very few people. I played it with Nick. He showed me how to play it, which is great. I played it once or twice with Gary, and I've played it I think with another friend at one point or other. My difficulty is that most of my gaming experience isn't 2-player games. I do play 2-player games. As I say, I used to play chess, but these days the games evenings are invariably social events where you want at least 4 people around if you can. 5 is good. If you drop down to 3, oh well, you can manage with that. But it's very rare that we have a games evening with 2 of us playing. I know me and Gary occasionally have had to resort to that because nobody's turned up. But we've played things like Lost Cities by Ragnar Brothers, enjoyed that as a 2-player. And we've played some of our own games which are 2-player as well. But if I was inviting people round for an evening, this game would not be on the table, I'm afraid, which is a pity. And it wouldn't even be one we could bring to the table at the end of the session, because if you've got 3 or 4 people playing, you simply can't play as a 4-player game. So, unless I'm mistaken, this has not been developed as a 3 or 4-player game. So my afterthought on this game is, wouldn't it be great if John could in some ways expand that a little bit to make it 3 or 4-player games? He may sort of hold his hands up in horror hearing me say that, but to put some angle on that with the Ragnar Brothers games, we went in the opposite direction. We were playing 3, 4-player games. In fact, sometimes we expanded it to 5 and 6 to try and get more people around the table. Working with Rick Royal, a solo games reviewer, as you may well know, we found that going to solo gaming was a really great way to embrace a little bit more of the hobby and quite informing our own designing of games. So if we can go down to 1, I just wonder if it's possible to get this to 3 or 4. I'd be very interested if there are some rules on that. If you do know of any, please get in touch with us, because I'd love to bring this game to the table to play with a few more friends on a games night. Anyway, that's all for What's Not to Like today. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.